This is from NBC. They posted this trailer right here. Angel Reese, Stewart, Valkyries, Aja, Kelsey Plum, NECA, Paige. If you know, you know. With basically all the big WNBA players in it. This is the W and this spring. And obviously,
NBC just got themselves into a tricky legal spot. They released a big, flashy trailer for the 2025 WNBA season, showing stars like Angel Reese, Verona Stewart, Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Paige Beckers. The video looked professional with music and smooth editing, but there's a major issue. The league hasn't signed a collective bargaining agreement, CBA, yet. Without a CBA, there might not even be a season, which means NBC is promoting something that might not happen.
CBA. I need to talk about that. Everyone's saying, oh, they didn't offer a different revenue split, and they absolutely did not give the players a revenue split, which is something that I think we all kind of know that isn't going to happen. We've always said is like, look, they're not going to get the rev split, but what they should get is the highest salary possible. The WNBA offered a $50K per player price raise. Like, they literally added an extra 10% to the salary cap from their initial one. They didn't change the max salary, but they bumped the average salary up by $600K as base salary.
Here's what most people don't realize about this negotiation. The WNBA already offered players an average salary increase of $50,000 each in their latest proposal. They also raised the overall salary cap by $600,000. The players aren't even asking for more than that. That's a 10% boost to the total salary cap compared to the original offer. These are significant numbers for a league that has struggled financially for most of its history. But the players' union still rejected the offer, and here's the tricky part, the rejection isn't really about the money itself.
Players are going to be making $0 if there's no season. So I think it's hard to be, in general, anti-players when they make $0 if there's no season. And it's one of those things where this is not like the NBA in 2011 where they could afford a lockout because the players already had money. Other than the rookies who knew they were eventually going to come back into a league where they were going to make millions and millions of dollars. Like, the fact is that there is a world where the WNBA does.
Players aren't asking for more money, let that sink in. What they want is a completely different way of getting paid. They're asking for revenue sharing, like NBA players get, instead of just higher fixed salaries. The WNBA is offering bigger guaranteed paychecks, but the players want their earnings tied to how much money the league makes. This is a big deal because revenue sharing only works well when the league is making a profit. The NBA can give players 50% of basketball-related income because there's a lot of money coming in. The WNBA, on the other hand, is still losing money, so revenue sharing could actually mean players earn less than they would under the current fixed salary system.
I have to know more because, by the way, again, coming to NBC and Peacock, surely by saying this, they've left themselves open to some form of, if nothing else, a guaranteed refund. I don't know anything legally, but like, surely, if you saw this advertisement and you bought Peacock for the year, you bought a year of Peacock today, you could win $1 million. I'm sure you could go to them and say, I bought this for WNBA on advertising.
Like the NBA lockout in 2011, even though people keep comparing them. That comparison is completely wrong. Back then, NBA players could afford to stop working because many of them already had millions saved. Even rookies knew they'd eventually make huge money. The real pressure was on the owners to get games back on TV. The WNBA is the opposite. Most WNBA players actually need the season to earn a living. They don't have big financial cushions, so they can't afford to miss paychecks. They're not negotiating from a position of power, they're negotiating out of necessity. That completely changes who has leverage in these talks.
There's no way that a network would be posting this unless they were confident. Especially when you put fucking neck in the trailer. Like, I don't think this is going to put pressure on the players because a network is not going to be putting pressure on the players because the network can probably almost certainly get their money back if there's not going to be a WNBA season. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I still think the likelihood is well above 50% of there being a season. And anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment.
Oh, back to NBC's trailer. Why would a major TV network promote a season that might not even happen? Either they know something the public doesn't, or they're risking a serious legal headache. Think about it, if someone saw that trailer and subscribed to Peacock just to watch WNBA games, but then there's no season, that's classic false advertising. NBC would likely have to offer refunds. Maybe their contract with the WNBA protects them financially if the season doesn't happen, or maybe the league would cover the ad costs, but either way, it's a huge gamble for NBC's reputation.
Be all force people subscribe to watch. So I doubt there'll be a season. Maybe if they decide to pay the players what they deserve. I mean this when I say this. Like, even if the player they paid they're giving the players 7x increases. The players are holding out for the players. It's not even about paying the players, which is the weirdest thing. Is it's nothing to do with paying the players. It is the players want an entirely different system of how their payment is generated. The players aren't actually asking.
Here's the encouraging part. The WNBA Players Association hasn't reacted to NBC's trailer with outrage. They haven't called it disrespectful, posted on social media, or urged fans to pressure Adam Silver. That silence is telling. In past moments, when the union disliked an offer, they went public right away. They were loud, aggressive, and used social media to apply pressure. So why are they quiet now? The most likely reason is that negotiations are moving forward, and the deal could actually be close.
I think it's also positive that the WNBPA have not called it a slap in the face. I've not said it's like putting lipstick on a pig. I've not responded with anything or publicly started posting on social media about this, or like asking them to write angry letters towards Adam Silver. They haven't posted anything from this since this one, which is important. Which is
in the WNBA's revised offer, the salary cap went from $5 million to $5.6 million. That's real money divided among 12 players per team. Could the players negotiate for another million? Probably. That would raise the average salary to about $650,000, up from $450,000 under the old CBA. They could also increase rookie minimums to around $300,000. That would make for a truly transformative deal for player pay, but it still wouldn't include revenue sharing. And that seems to be the main issue. The union isn't just after higher numbers, they want the payment structure. They want a piece of the upside if the league grows a lot over the next 5 years.
Look, we need a season. We can't live without it. And just do what you can. Do what you can, get us the best deal you can. And I wouldn't be surprised if the players could probably negotiate. They've gone from 5 to 5.6 million. The players could probably negotiate another million on the salary cap, which is again an extra 100k per player on average. So basically from the last CBA, from the one 6 weeks ago, they could probably bump up the average salary to 650k from 450k base salary. They absolutely could go and do something like that. Maybe bring the rookie salary up to 300k.
Here's the situation. NBC wouldn't risk their reputation on a big promotional campaign unless they had strong reason to believe a deal is coming. They've invested a fortune in WNBA broadcast rights and built their entire spring sports schedule around women's basketball. If there's no season, they'd have to fill that airtime with something else, likely at a loss, while also facing backlash for promoting a product that doesn't exist. The players' union has stayed silent, which is a good sign. They're not trying to sabotage the deal publicly. It shows they're negotiating seriously behind the scenes. The WNBA has already increased their offer significantly, signaling they're willing to move on salaries, even if they won't change the revenue-sharing structure. But the clock is ticking. Training camps start in just a few weeks. The longer negotiations drag, the more everyone loses. Players miss paychecks, the league loses momentum from record ratings, NBC loses programming and subscribers, and sponsors lose marketing opportunities. Here's the harsh truth nobody wants to say. If players hold out for full revenue sharing and there's no season, the league could be in serious trouble. Casual fans gained during Caitlyn Clark's rookie season could disappear, sponsors might pull back, and networks could rethink their investments. The league has real cultural momentum right now, and losing a season would waste it. The players and union leadership know this. That's why, despite the public posturing, the chances of a season are probably well over 50%, maybe 70% or more. Most likely, the WNBA will offer another small bump to the salary cap, and players will accept a deal without full revenue sharing but with performance-based bonuses tied to league growth. Both sides will claim victory, and basketball will happen in May because the alternative is too damaging. Otherwise, players lose their platform and their paychecks. The league could lose its momentum, or even its future. NBC risks hundreds of millions of dollars, and fans could lose the sport just as it's finally gaining real attention. NBC's trailer isn't just marketing, it's a signal. They know something. The deal is close. When it's announced, both sides will present it as a win, even though each compromised. That's just how negotiations work. So, will there be a WNBA season in 2025? I'm betting yes. The stakes are too high for either side to walk away, and NBC wouldn't be running national ads if they thought there was a real chance of no basketball. They've seen the numbers, been in the room, and are confident enough to risk their reputation. The real question now isn't if there will be a season, it's what the final salaries will be and whether the players secured enough concessions to justify the brinkmanship. We'll know soon, because training camps won't wait for negotiations to finish. The clock is ticking, and everyone knows it.